What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. This is your boy Solo over here reacting to some, pop culture. I would say Japanese culture videos. I really love Japan, bro. So I'm just trying to figure out. Let me take a peek at what's going on in Japan right now. You know, and apparently they got a little spicy situation with that cheating, bro. Japan, bro. Let's say it's very open-minded. You'll get that reference, but like, let's take a look at it. All right. Video investigating Japan's cheating culture. All right, let's start.
風俗に行くことは浮気かどうかっていうどう思いますか？イエスかノー、イエスかノーで。
No.
Does prostitution counts as cheating? Bro. The US, that's a fucking yes, bro. They say no. It's okay to sleep with a streetwalker. It's crazy. Yeah, they're open-minded.
金払えばいいよって言ったことあり
Don't cheat on me and just go to a brothel. As long as you pay, it's fine. Yo, some cultures are just different, bro. I don't know. But it has to be like both ways, right? The women are okay with it, then the man should be okay with it too. I mean, let's keep going. Let's keep going. That's fucking crazy. That's a crazy take. I could not imagine, my wife or my girl telling me, "Oh, you want to bust a few? No, don't go call, your side chick. He go some money. Here's my card. You can go to this place. Go to this place." Man, that's fucking, that's wild. Is that even legal over there? I wonder if it's like in Amsterdam, it's legal. I don't know if Japan is illegal over there. Let's keep watching.
Recently, street interviews have gone viral featuring Japanese people saying that cheating is okay. If you haven't seen this before, you're welcome for the culture shock. But there's more, because you have uni students in research papers going even further to say, well, everyone cheats, and husbands reflecting on their affairs, stating, if you want sex, that's where the girlfriend comes in.
Why is he low-key spitting facts though? I mean, it's not right, but like shit. Niggas say if you want sex, that's what you have a girlfriend for. If you want a marriage, that's what you have a wife for. Everyone cheats. That's open-minded right there. Shit.
I'm gonna take a wild guess here and say this kind of thinking and attitude towards cheating is not one you're familiar with.
No.
So where does this difference in value come from? And is there actually a cheating culture in Japan? To properly investigate this matter, I need to take you back in time to an era where Japan was genuinely chill with cheating. Cheating occurs when you're in an exclusive relationship and you have an emotional or sexual affair with someone who is not your partner. Now here's a question for you. What happens when you're in a committed relationship but you don't care for your partner at all? In ancient Japan, this was a common problem people faced because historically...
I get it. Arranged marriages and shit. Yeah. That makes sense. Like, you don't care for her like that. And you guys are just together because that's the family ties. She's completely okay with you doing your own thing and she doing her own thing. I doubt it goes both ways, man. I doubt. Knowing, I don't know if it's gonna go both ways. Letting your wife do the same thing too? Yeah. Men get a little bit territorial. Yeah. Let me see. I wonder. I'm curious. That's my biggest question for this video. Are men okay with women doing that too? Because if a woman okay with that's already crazy enough that it's one side is okay with it. If both sides is okay with it, that's even crazier, bro. It's fucking even crazier. Let's continue.
Commitments like marriage were not about love. The point of marrying someone was to form alliances between your families and to produce heirs. So it was almost like a business deal. Once you fulfilled your duties to your family, you were then free to pursue your own individual desires, like finding passion or love. We can see this mindset very clearly during the Heian era in Japan. Among the Heian elite, married couples often slept in separate residences, which made it really easy for other people to slip in and out of bedrooms without awkwardly encountering the wife or husband. It literally could not be.
wife or husband. So it does go both ways when you think about it. Now, like, I don't know, kings and powerful people in history has always been the idea of getting a concubine or, like, mistress and so on and so on. That's always been something that's not looked down upon. The poly relationship for kings or powerful people. But it's interesting that it's still going on in Japan. Not like it's like poly, but I would say it's completely okay with them thinking like sex is just a way to get that sexual urge, that frustration out. That's interesting.
Easier to cheat. The Heian era was the most infamous time in Japan for cheating because they commonly occurred and because both men and women could cheat. As time progresses, we'll see cheating still occurs, but it becomes more
Equality.
and more of a thing only men could get away with. A few hundred years later, during the Tokugawa period, these restrictions came into place. If men from the elite class wanted to sleep around, they could do so, but these activities had to be within Yoshiwara, Japan's first legal red light district. For elite class women, it was frowned upon for them to seek other partners.
Figured I told you it was gonna happen, bro. Like, I could see women thinking like that. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. I could see how that's socially acceptable, more leaning to one way. I'm not saying it's okay, but I could definitely see that, leaning towards the man's side of it, but the woman's side is more off-putting. Let's just
Confucian
keep
thought,
watching.
introduced through the text Onna Daigaku, or greater learning for women, required them to be faithful to only one husband. So, a double standard had emerged,
Yep.
and it was solidified during the Meiji era in the 19th century. The Japanese government implemented the ie system, emphasizing traditional household roles. Men went out to work, and women looked after the home. This structural division justified a lot of the cheating that was conducted by men. Japanese men worked hard for their family, they were the breadwinner, so if they occasionally needed an outlet to relieve their stress, then they deserved
okay.
it. But if a woman were to cheat, she would be disrespecting her husband and her children. For a while during the Meiji era, there was even a law that stated a husband had the right to kill his wife and her lover if he found them committing adultery.
Hey, I ain't saying it's right, but a nigga understand, you feel me? Shit. I don't know, bro. Just double standard. There has always been double standard in the world. Nothing is fair. That's one of my number one policy. Nothing is fucking fair in this world, especially how life. Nature is one of the most biased being or force. So nature is always gonna be biased towards one way or the other. Let's just take a look.
With such biased laws and widespread justification for
Bias.
men to cheat, women were low-key gaslit into thinking affairs were acceptable husband behavior. Even if they didn't like it, there was little they could do to stop it.
Yeah.
Public opinion was that it was fine. And before World War II, it was not uncommon for upper middle class men to have one or even two mistresses, as it was a
Concubines.
sign of social prestige. At the time, the prevailing belief was if you couldn't keep a mistress, you were second rate. This double standard for cheating remained until after World War II. What changed? Well, political reforms and the introduction of Christian ideals during this time led to monogamy becoming the new norm for both genders. And we can see this reflected in the law. Before 1948, under
I would say, I don't know a lot about it, but I would say like the Christian ideal kind of pushed a lot of cultures to changing that idea of a man can have more than one woman. Like it's one of the biggest push factors whenever Christianity appears. More often than not, the home environment is usually what changed the most. Like have one wife, man head of household, stuff like that. I would say like I've seen it happen a few times in history. I'm not saying I've seen it. I've read it happen a few times in history. Which king was it? Changed the Bible just so he could divorce his wife and take a new one. That's just how it is, bro. The more Christianity spread to our other cultures, the more cultures change to kind of follow. I would say it's more of a religion thing. Let's not just blame Christianity. The most popular religion in that community often than not affects the household and the whole community in general.
Japanese law, adultery was only about the sexual relationship of a married woman with another man. I know. So now applying the
Crazy.
same standard to men signaled a huge change in values in Japanese society. And this is honestly a very recent development. It hasn't even been 100 years. Compare this to the ancient Greeks and Romans, first millennium Jews and Christians, medieval Catholics, early modern Protestants, where marital monogamy has been the mainstream in the West for millennia. Not only is there a stark difference between Japan and the West in adapting monogamy, Japan also differs from its East Asian neighbors. Yes, Confucian teaching of loyalty and faithfulness was introduced to Japan, but it was only really applied to women. The Confucian definition of marriage, a monogamous bond between a man and a woman, was never really adopted by the Japanese.
I would say this though. She mentioned a point. Monogamy is very important in Western culture, but we do have to face the truth that Western culture kind of cheats a lot too. You know, cheating is like it's normalized in secret. I would say. You know, what's a country I could say? France. I do know France has like a cheating problem, bro. Yeah, yeah. France has a huge cheating problem. It's just okay over there. Not okay, but like, you know, in secrecy. It's like in secrecy it's okay. You know, it happens. People are like, you know, it does happen. But I think it does go more both ways in France. Like don't freaking put me under I don't know how to come up with that expression. Just don't judge me too harshly because I'm going back on just stuff that I know and read about. I don't know like if it's true or not, but I do believe I've seen a lot where you know cheating was more normalized when it comes to like countries. When it comes to France, France is very very open minded when it comes to that.
And Japan's most popular religions, Buddhism and Shinto, didn't place as much emphasis on marriage or monogamy as Christianity did in the West, or as Confucianism did in East Asia. As you can see, these religious or philosophical differences played a very big role in emphasizing or not emphasizing marital monogamy. And all of this has a huge impact on what Japanese society later deems as acceptable. Laws may have changed, and monogamy may be the expectation now, but ways of thinking shaped by thousands of years of history do not just disappear overnight. So let's take a look at what Japanese people nowadays think, starting with the demographic featured in all those street interviews. Do young Japanese people really think this way, or is this just a cherry-picked?
I'll make a hypothesis real quick. I think they're playing it up for the camera. I honestly think they're playing it up for the camera because I think when the camera is on your face and you get asked those, you try to make it like entertaining with the response and so on and so on. It looks like that's like a nightlife environment, like when they were doing an interview. So I would say I think it's more leaning to like they don't really think that way, but it's not, it's in secrecy, you know, like don't do it in my face type of deal. Yeah, I would say I don't think so. I think that, you know, plus, you know, street interviewers, bro, they go out, you know, get some girls that are drunk or just come from parties, ask her some question. Those girls see that they're going to be in camera. They try to say some outlandish shit. I don't know. I personally think that it's being overblown. It's being overhyped. I don't think so. I think it's more monogamy than that video is making it seems to be.
Example. Let's find out.
We're on the clock.
Ads.
Shot
Ads
Yeah,
is
let's do
crazy,
it.
but we do get ads here.
Ah, university, a time when nothing truly mattered. Lectures were held to be skipped, assignments were made to be submitted late, and uni campus was a landmark, a
PTSD,
place you
bro.
saw once a while and never for a long time. This spirit of nothing matters seemed to be shared in Japan too, though slightly differently. Momoko, a 21-year-old student, cuts to the chase. Cheating is forgivable because we are still college students. This was her response to Kimura and Ferrer in their 2021 paper on how university students in Japan dealt with cheating. Most responses in the paper said cheating was common, and nearly every respondent justified it as a product of youth.
I can
It's a
see it.
rather grim image. There's a shared belief among these respondents that because they're young, relationships aren't that serious anyways, and it's not like you're thinking about marriage, so cheating is more acceptable. May, a 22-year-old who cheated, says, "Because I am a university student, I do
22-year-old
not need to
cheater.
have a very serious relationship. Basically, I started infidelity with a light heart."
Yo.
And I have a confession to
These
make.
women
I've
are-
cheated too. On my study schedule.
Oh, I'm about to
yeah,
say,
I set all
man,
these
that's
goals
crazy.
for myself, like get fluent in a language. But how am I going to get fluent if I'm always on YouTube or TikTok instead of actually studying?
Let her
Well,
earn her
something
money.
that's worked for me is to not force myself to open a textbook and start drilling vocab. That sounds horrible, but to simply work smarter, not harder. You never have to convince yourself to watch another anime episode. In fact, the struggle is to stop. So why fight that urge? Migaku is your one-stop language learning platform that comes with a
Let her
Chrome
earn her money,
extension,
bro.
app, grammar courses, and
Earn your
more.
money,
It
fam.
offers dual subtitles when you're engaging with content you're interested in. Whether it's anime, novels, lyrics, or articles, you're always picking up on the words that are most relevant for you. You can add words you don't know into a flashcard system, see the sentence breakdown, and learn new words by watching YouTube on your phone through the Migaku app, which is super convenient. Migaku also has comprehensive Japanese courses covering from the basics to advanced grammar concepts.
I
The
wanna learn
fundamentals
Japanese
course
too,
covers
bro.
pronunciation, writing systems, and everything you need to know before diving into more complex topics. After completing the beginner's course, you will know 80% of the most common words and grammar patterns. In their app, Migaku also has text recognition, which is great for textbooks, in real life words you don't understand, or for when you want to order a dish and pronounce the words right instead of just pointing at it and saying "kore kudasai." Don't turn your love for a language into a chore. It doesn't have to be hard. Learning can be super fun and effortless, and you would definitely enjoy the process 100 times more with Migaku. Follow my link in the description to receive 50% off their lifetime subscription, which also gives you access to all Migaku languages. Now that's a commitment I know won't be broken. Though I don't know if I can say the same for relationships, because what was that again about starting infidelity with a light heart? These responses make cheating sound very commonplace and acceptable, but I do need to emphasize the study looked only at those who had cheated
Yeah.
or were the third person or were cheated.
I think I would say it's like a very small minority. I'm sorry. It's a very small minority of people that would actually have that belief. I think it is. Some people do have that belief. It's stupid to think people don't have that belief. I mean, we have people that believe the earth is fucking flat. So let's be honest here. So why not believe? Some people believe that it's okay for you to cheat with a prostitute. So it's not that far off.
On. It's a very specific demographic, so we can't assume the views and experiences being shared here reflect the experiences and thoughts of the broader population. Still, these responses offer some insightful perspectives. Respondents who cheated often minimize their behavior by rationalizing and justifying it, saying it's not a big deal, we're still young, and everyone does it. Despite this, there were still respondents in the same study who stated cheating was morally unacceptable and a deal breaker. Daiki, a 22-year-old who was cheated upon, says, "Yeah, I'm the type that doesn't forgive stuff like that."
He a real one. I mean, you have to think about it this way, bro. The best way I could put it is that if you're constantly cheating, of course, for you, it's not going to be something that's going to be major for you. But, like, you know, other people, if you cheat once or twice, you're going to have a different value. If your value does not include cheating at all, and you've been cheated on, you're going to see cheating as, you know, way more morally wrong. So it's not something that, you know, it's not something that's black and white. It's more like on a scale, I would say, depending on how often you cheat. I would say if somebody cheated like fucking 100 times, I would not be surprised if they said there's nothing wrong with cheating, because nigga, that's what you do. That's the whole lifestyle, bro. Like, ain't nothing wrong with it, but like, I mean, there's something wrong with it, but like, you got some. Might as well not get into a relationship if you're gonna get into a relationship, get into that commitment, and only to keep cheating. Or, you know what we should do is find people that likes to cheat and put them together, and the people that don't like to cheat, I don't know, fucking impossible. I'm talking like Black Mirror episode, forget it.
I'd kind of just immediately lose feelings for her. Many respondents who were cheated on broke up with their partner because they had the idea of once a cheater, always a cheater. And I know this is something that splits the room, so let me know in the comments below.
Bro, the truth is as simple as that. Once a cheater, always a cheater. Look, you might cheat once and never cheat it again, but that doesn't take that fucking label off your back. You cheated, bro. You cheated, fam. I think that's true. Once a cheater is always gonna be a cheater. If you don't have that impulse control to, not engage in something like that, because it's gonna hurt, why don't you just leave that person? If you're really questioning yourself like that, just leave that person. And just because you cheated once and you've never cheated again does not take away that label from you. That label is still there. You are a cheater because you did do it. That's just it. You could say, oh, I never cheated again. I only cheated once. Well, guess what? You did cheat it. So technically you're a cheater. It's a fucking label. That's it. Once you fit that mold, once you hit that label, you meet the qualifications, unfortunately, you got that label on you.
If you agree with it. Because we can even see a clear divide here in this study. There were those who thought cheating was okay, mostly the cheaters, and those who thought it should never happen, and they were usually the ones who got cheated on. When it comes to the street interviews, I suspect we're seeing a similar occurrence here. Those who cheat or have cheated will likely minimize their behavior, saying it's okay and it's common. But the part that seemed to shock people the most from these street interviews was how chill Japanese women seem to be with the idea of their partner saying a prostitute. So we're going to address this, and this is where all that historical context we looked at comes in handy. Remember, it wasn't until very recently, until after World War II, that the idea of monogamy was enforced in Japan for both genders. So for centuries prior, Japanese women would know their husbands were cheating on them, having affairs or visiting prostitutes to relax after work, and they could do absolutely nothing about it. Of course, things have changed now, but the ways of thinking or societal expectations can still linger. Many of these female respondents say they're fine with their partner seeing a prostitute, but are they really okay with it? Or is there still social pressure in being a chill girl because just 2 generations ago men could cheat and women were okay with it? Take a look at the reason why this respondent thinks prostitution is not cheating.
風俗に行くことは浮気かどうかっていう、どう思いますか？イエスかノー、イエスかノーで。
ノ
ノー。
ー。全然嫌ではあります。
いや。なるほどなるほど。じゃあ自分が重いって思われたくないっていうのを理由に浮気だとは思わないっていうことです。なるほど。
That is like that's so sad, bro. I mean, your girlfriend don't want to consider it cheating because she don't want to become too clingy. I feel like there's something called too clingy, and there's something called, there's boundaries. There's some boundaries that don't cross in a relationship, and I guess depending on the relationship, everybody have different boundaries, but that makes no sense. You should have a say in when it comes to the sexual aspect of the relationship. If you want to bring in a third person, okay, some people are like that. We got some freaking swingers. But if you just want to be like, hey, this is just gonna be between the two of us, that's something I want to share with only you, that's completely your right to say that. You look, bro, I mean, that kind of hurt me a little bit.
It's easy for us in the West to assume that not seeing a prostitute is the bare minimum. In fact, if that were a requirement, the bar is truly in hell. But the same privilege is not so readily afforded to Japanese women. The relationship between cheating and societal expectations gets even deeper when we look at the generation above. If you weren't shocked already by what you have seen, hold on tight, because for this generation, cheating is often not the problem, it's the solution.
I haven't been to the grocery store in over a year, but I'm eating healthier than ever. Here's how I did it. Meal planning used to be...
this out real quick. I'm gonna pause it real quick. I haven't watched the video yet, but I'm gonna make a guess as to what she's gonna go talk about. When you've been in a relationship for so long, the love fade out, and I guess they try to find a way to like keep that's a hard take. I was thinking like, some niggas just go out there, relieve that stress, that sexual urge, and come back, and they could start anew. But like sometimes the love fade away. But like the part of a relationship is that sometimes that love might fade away. You gotta have to, it's your job in a relationship to try to find a way to bring that spark back, like freaking put some wood on that campfire or something like that. If you let it fade away for too long and your solution is to go out there and sleep with somebody else, coming back thinking that's gonna fix shit, it's not gonna fix shit. It's not. You know, I mean, y'all might be together, but at the end of the day, is it okay to just be together, but at the end of the day, y'all have no love for each other? That's a hard question. Like, y'all have no love and respect for each other. That's crazy. Let's sit it out.
In CNN's 2019 docuseries on sex and love around the world, Japanese respondents shared their views on love, marriage, and affairs. One Japanese woman declares, "I love my husband and I love my boyfriend. What's wrong with that?" In Sakoto Sayaka's book on marriage infidelity in Japan, she notes that Japanese men liked how their wife did the housework and understood their role at work. As for their mistress, Japanese men liked her appearance and the sex they shared. For Japanese women though, everything about the new guy was better. His personality, his appearance, his hobbies, the sex, there was nothing the husband could offer that was better.
Yo, just leave your nigga there, bro. It's not worth it, bro. I'm sorry to advocate for this, but just leave your nigga if that's the solution, bro. It's kind of funny that the guy is like, you know, my wife cooks, she cleans, she listens, she respects me, but the other women have sex. The sex is so amazing. It's amazing, but the woman is just like, he's there, but you know, her boyfriend just got everything. Basically, the husband basically can't compete. You know what? The only thing that he can compete with is probably money-wise. I will say that. The money-wise and the stability he could give her. Other than that, the fucking new boo is doing everything the husband can't do. He's hitting them deep spots.
Damn, that's brutal. But this raises the question. I mean, I guess with Japanese men, they might keep their wife around so someone does all the laundry and the dishes. But what is making Japanese women stay if their lover is better in every single way? Well, there's two parts to Japanese culture here that explains why people who cheat often would rather keep cheating than get a divorce. And that's gaman culture and shogunai. Gaman culture is a Japanese concept where one endures hardship without complaints. It's deeply ingrained in Japanese culture, and if you've heard of Japan's long working hours, gaman culture is what pushes workers to endure such brutal conditions. In the same way, it may encourage those in unhappy marriages to keep sticking it out even if they want a different life or a different partner. Another trait stemming from gaman culture is the attitude of shogunai, or it can't be helped. Basically, it is what it is. And if you remember the girl from earlier, she actually expresses this exact attitude when asked about her partner seeing a prostitute.
嫌だけどしょうがないかなって思っちゃう。
しょうがない。
しょうがない。
When given
Nothing can be done about it. Why are you okay with your husband sleeping around? Nothing can be done about it. Just leave him. Just gone. Get stepping, bro. That's it. That's what can be done about it. Damn.
Given a chance to elaborate, she confesses she doesn't like her partner going to see a prostitute. And let's be honest here, who would?
Nobody.
But she still says it's fine because it can't be helped. Gaman culture and this attitude of it can't be helped when applied to a marriage often leads to couples staying together even when they're deeply unhappy because it's expected of them. And also because the family unit, the kids, and social appearances, all of this is often considered more important than individual happiness.
Did your husband know? No. What would you do if you found out? Divorce? No. Why?
They probably don't get divorced.
So you're happy now?
Yes.
In these cases, quietly cheating
They
often
probably don't
becomes
get
the
divorced like that over
solution
there. I don't know.
instead of the problem. Again, please note that in a happy marriage, this obviously does not apply. And cheating does come with consequences in Japan. It's not as trivial as these respondents would make it seem. For example, Carolina Shino, crowned Miss Japan in 2024, had to return her title after it was revealed that she had an affair with a married man. Yaguchi Mari, Becky, Watabe Ken are all famous Japanese public figures whose careers took a hit after news of them having affairs or being involved in one came out.
Yeah, this is what I thought. Like it's okay when it comes to the idea of its secrecy. Like it's something like it's not as widespread as that video made it out seems to be. Like is cheating there? Yeah, cheating is in every culture, but it comes with a level of secrecy too. Like we know most people are cheating in a relationship. Even in Western culture, I would say like it's highly likely that most people are cheating in their relationship, whether that be some sort of emotional or sexual cheating. There is that aspect going on, but but it's not really put out there. I would say in Japan culture, it's more biased towards the men though. Like the fact that you suspect it, but you just have to put up with it is crazy. In America, that woman would like probably start sniffing you and while out, scratch your car, fuck up your shoes, do all that
Cheating
shit.
is not more common in Japan than in other countries.
Yeah.
It's simply the attitude around cheating that catches us off guard.
More
Many
lax.
viewers who see these videos may leave with the impression that there is a cheating culture in Japan, but that is simply wrong. These responses, which can be easily misunderstood, have to be interpreted within the context of Japanese society, culture, and history. Behind the nonchalant attitudes displayed here is a long history of patriarchal laws that have shaped and guided the Japanese, particularly women, on what to expect from a relationship. And with the older generation, cheating can be viewed as the easier alternative than splitting up and dealing with the social consequences. Nevertheless, Japan is no better or worse at cheating than other countries. While infidelity exists in Japan, it is not truly acceptable in the eyes of most Japanese people, nor is there a culture that celebrates or encourages cheating. Viral content wouldn't be viral if the responses weren't shocking. While some Japanese may normalize cheating, the majority still value trust and fidelity in their relationships. In the cases where cheating does occur, looking back at historical and cultural values as we've examined today can help explain why people react the way they do in these circumstances. Thank you for watching all the way until the end, and make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video.
She's definitely a good content creator. I fuck with her video a lot. Give her a shout out. I don't know. I'm not big enough to give shout outs, but like if you guys are interested, if you do end up finding my video, this is her channel right here. You know, take a look at it. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give me a subscribe and a like, and I'll see you guys next time.